President Trump's mega bill is now in the hands of the House of Representatives, and almost immediately there are signs that things are about to potentially get quite bumpy. The president's signature piece of legislation includes tax and Medicaid cuts. It barely passed the Senate, but ultimately did after a tie-breaking vote from the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and praise that we heard from President Trump as he flew back to Washington on Air Force One today.
This bill has something for everybody by doing it this way. So we're happy about it. We're happy with the result.
It remains to be seen if certain House Republicans are also happy with the result. While President Trump directed them to, quote, stay united, have fun, and vote yay, Speaker Mike Johnson can only afford for 3 of them to vote nay, and right now we are hearing from several House Republicans who say they have serious reservations.
So this whole thing is, I don't know what to call it. It's a show.
My colleagues in the Senate failed us. My colleagues in the Senate failed us.
I think the founders and the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence would be astounded that we're adding debt to our children and grandchildren who are defenseless.
Now, those are House Republicans, but we're even hearing from some Senate Republicans who voted yes on this bill that still want more changes to be made. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska cast the deciding vote today, but said afterward, quote, my dear hope is that this is not the final product. This bill needs more work across chambers and is not ready for the president's desk. When she was asked by NBC News' Ryan Nobles about criticism from her fellow Republican Rand Paul, just watch how long Senator Murkowski paused for.
Senator Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my God.
That's what Senator Paul said.
My question was easy. Senator, we've got the...
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. Do I like this bill? No.
Despite what we heard from Senator Murkowski about more changes to this bill, the White House doesn't want that. They don't want to see any more changes to what the Senate passed, and they are instead urging House Republicans to get this bill to the president's desk ASAP, according to what the president's budget chief told me this afternoon. On the bill that just passed the Senate, does the White House want the House to make any changes to it, or do you guys want them to pass it as is?
We need to pass this bill. We need to get it to the president's desk.
So no changes from the House?
We need to pass this bill and get it to the president's desk, and we're on a limited time frame.
You worked closely with Elon Musk on Doge. I mean, what do you say to his concerns and his complaints about this is not being fiscally conservative, what people in your party have run on for years?
I think it's wrong. I think, we continue to educate folks on the extent to which the perceptions of this bill on the fiscal side are coming from watchdogs that are policy agnostic and don't support tax relief.
I want to get straight to CNN's Sunlen Serfati, who is live on Capitol Hill for us tonight, where we are watching closely to see what Republicans there are saying. And Sunlen, obviously, you heard the White House kind of arguing this, saying that maybe they feel that they need to be educated and that they are looking at outside estimates that the White House disagrees with. What are you hearing on Capitol Hill tonight?
Well, Caitlin, certainly tomorrow is going to be a critical day up here on Capitol Hill in the House. The House and House leaders have made it very clear that they intend to move toward a final vote on this bill, this very important bill that the president wants to see moved through very swiftly. But how that happens, when that happens, and if that happens is very much an open question at this hour. Now, the first thing to look for in the morning is potentially them to move towards, if they feel like they are in a good spot, towards a key procedural vote. Now, this is essentially a vote on the rule of the bill, essentially to advance the bill on the House floor. That is where we could get an early indication in the morning which way this is headed, and if those conservatives who are still worried about the bill and expressing a lot of disagreement with the bill at this hour tonight, if they will stand in the way of the bill going forward and advancing on the House floor. And we have heard work this evening on Capitol Hill. A lot of frustration about the bill, a lot of frustration about the House just in essence taking the Senate changes, especially the deeper cuts to Medicaid that many House conservatives are worried about. They, in essence, want to amend the bill, make another House version, and then send it back to the Senate. That is something that House leadership at this moment want to avoid. They want to avoid, in essence, this legislative ping pong where it goes from the House to the Senate and back again. So right now it is an open question what happens on the floor of the House tomorrow when they convene. And Caitlin, Speaker Johnson, as he was leaving the House tonight, acknowledged that there are a lot of factors in play, not only all this worry about what's in the bill, if they will have enough votes, they can only lose 3 members, but also the key factor of getting members back here in Washington. There are major weather delays. They are worried about each and every member as they show up. Caitlin?
Yeah, a lot of flight delays coming in. Salman Sarfati, thank you for that. 2 lawmakers who have made it to Washington are here with me tonight. Republican Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee and Democratic Congressman Richie Torres of New York. Congratulations on not having flight delays. Congressman, what are you going to do? Are you going to vote yes on the bill as it stands tonight, or do you have reservations like some of your colleagues over in the House?
Of course I have reservations. It's a huge piece of legislation. The thing I look mostly, though, is how it affects Tennesseans. And if it doesn't pass, then Tennesseans will automatically have a pretty substantial tax increase, as in his district as well. So that working folks, things like that, the credits that are there in there for manufacturing, I like the border security. I like the Iron Dome if it's done.
Yeah, but a lot of
properly.
people in Tennessee get Medicaid and SNAP benefits as well. Are you worried about
No,
those cuts?
I'm not, because unless they're doing it illegally and waste, abuse, and fraud. That's all their cuts are. That's a misnomer. That's what the left is putting out to scare people, and unfortunately, that's what we do in politics, and it's wrong.
What do you're saying? Only people who get Medicaid illegally are going to be affected by these cuts? I don't think that's all right. I mean,
I do. I
the
think
projection is it's 12 million people. Are you saying 12 million people are getting Medicaid
is,
illegally?
but I've delved into those notes, and most of them are unsubstantiated. That's, they will not address the fact that illegals are on it. They will not address the fact that there's a work requirement, which I think every American, if they're capable of working, they should probably not be on Medicaid. And so, we've got single moms, 2 kids or something like that. No, they should qualify for the programs. But if we're not careful, we will destroy the program, and it will not take care of the least amongst us.
Congressman Torres?
The Republican Reconciliation Bill is a tragedy for America. It's a tragedy for the working people of America. The independent, bipartisan Congressional Budget Office has said that it will cause 12 million people to lose their health care. It will slash Medicaid and children's health care by $1 trillion, which is the largest health care cut in recent American history. It will slash SNAP by $300 billion, the largest food assistance cut in recent history. It's going to add $3 to $5 trillion to the debt, plunging our country into a debt spiral. The legislation is a catastrophe. And if you think that $1 trillion cut amounts to preserving or protecting Medicaid, then I have the Bronx River and the Brooklyn Bridge to sell you. It's a lie. Donald Trump is lying about the impact of the legislation to the American people. It's one thing to defund health care and food. It's something else to lie to the American people.
You talked about your reservations, and one thing we've heard from Republicans is you want to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, right?
Correct.
Are you comfortable then with the provision that the Senate put into this to get Lisa Murkowski to vote for it, where basically states that have the highest level of erroneous payouts of SNAP get a delay here? Essentially, those states that are the worst at paying out SNAP benefits or do it the least effectively get a delay here, and essentially of how long they could see cuts to those provisions. In terms of that, we've heard from some Republicans who say it's kind of this perverse incentive that the worse you are at this, the more you benefit from this provision in the Senate bill.
I think it allows states to get in line, but also I think it's very disingenuous when you say that it's going to add $3 trillion to the debt in 10 years when the last 4 years.
I didn't say that. The Congressional Budget Office.
The Congressional Budget Office is not nonpartisan. 85% of the people that work in their health care division are Democrats and have contributed to Democrats. Their number one economist
it's run by a Republican.
Is a Democrat.
It's run by a Republican.
But it needs to be disbanded. It is a relic. But the truth is, under the last 4 years, every 100 days we've run up $1 trillion, and all of a sudden you hear the Democrats and Chuck Schumer saying over the next 10 years it's going to round up $3 trillion. Well, where were they the last 4 years when we ran up over $12 trillion in debt? That just doesn't figure. And they're allowed to do that because their mouthpieces in the media continue to tout these lies that they say, and they just don't fit into the real math. And the CBO has never been by a nonpartisan organization.
Okay.
Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that.
Well, the guy who runs it donated to a Republican and is a Republican. But can I ask you on terms of what you're saying about, I mean, you're saying what the media is saying about this. This is Ron Johnson who had these concerns, Josh Hawley who had these concerns. Tom Tillis is saying people in his state who are deserving of Medicaid would be kicked off.
Outside of Tillis, they all voted for it.
Well, they still criticized it, though, and said they had serious reservations about it.
Well, sure, they're going to have criticism of it. Anything that's this large. That's why I think we need to go back to what we do in Tennessee, single-issue spending bills, and let every bill be accountable to the voters. But we don't do that because neither party has the guts to do it, and they know it's a wink and a nod to stack these things up with a lot of pork. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury with this because of our economic situation that we're in, and I think that the American economy has suffered the last 4 years, and under this bill, I think it will correct a lot of those problems.
So it sounds like you're